Well, that was just a little bit silly in Philly last night as Newcastle United drew 3 apiece. Well, a very experimental setup. We'll get to that in a minute. Newcastle United, we drew 3-3 against Aston Villa in Philadelphia. And yeah, quite a decent amount of entertainment for what a midnight start last night. Yeah, enjoyed it, but didn't think I was going to enjoy it after what the opening 10 minutes. Absolutely bizarre lineup, and you know, last night I was scratching my head thinking, why would you do that? Why would you just not stick with the 4-3-3, which has brought us to the dance? However, I'm sort of digesting it a little bit this morning. You've got to think, with this game in a couple of weeks' time at home at St James's Park against Aston Villa, is it a little bit of kidology? Is it a little bit of mind games? Is it a little bit of sort of greying it up a little bit so that Unai Emery doesn't get a first-hand close look at how he will line up in that, you know, season opener? And perhaps it was. But you know, pre-season is the time to experiment. Pre-season is the time to try different formations. As soon as I saw it on the screen in front of us, I had flashbacks after the first 10 minutes to how Spurs played against us. If you remember, they set it up in exactly the same way, and we were around them like a fly round shit. And Villa were good value for the 2-0 lead at one point. I thought physically they were very much at it. I thought in the middle of the park they were very strong and athletic. I thought that we really missed any sort of physical presence in there. And seeing Kieran Trippier on one side and Paul Dummett on the other side of a 3-man defence was scaring me, to be honest. Not so much Trippier, because I know he's a versatile player and a great pro, but you had Paul Dummett, who looked really shaky. The first time he started in absolutely ages, and he was playing on the same side of Matt Targett, who was a little bit, again, shaky to start the game off. And Aston Villa were just literally running through us. There was nothing, no sort of protection from the full-back areas or the wing-back areas, whatever you want to call it. And Aston Villa were absolutely exploiting that, and they were making hay while the sun was shining, to be honest. It could have been worse. It really could have been. 1-0 went to 2-0. I thought Dubravka didn't cover himself with glory with that one where he was beaten on his near post as well. But you couldn't have any complaints. You could not have any complaints. The drinks break, which I think is a fucking great idea, came after about 20 minutes or so, and yeah, it allowed Eddie Howe just to get all of the lads to tweak some stuff, to change some stuff, and Newcastle United quickly got back into it through Elliot Anderson pulling a goal back. Very Alexander Isak-esque, I thought, in that goal, you know, sort of dinking around and jinking about. He wasn't lashing at it. He was very cool and calm, and you know, a great goal. And then Newcastle United get back to parity before half time, bring it back to 2-2. Isak smashing the ball home, and despite the fact it's a pre-season friendly, I was into it. I was definitely into it, and I was like, get in. Obviously, second half, shite load of changes. You know, players getting changed. The game, though, swings back to Aston Villa. They go 3-2 in front, and you're thinking, you bastard. Going to spoil it. Was it worth staying up all night? But the drama wasn't finished, and the entertainment wasn't finished. Callum Wilson, of course, who bloody else? Callum Wilson comes on off the substitutes bench, and again, good work through the youngster Anderson. But we get another goal back, 3 apiece. There's then chances at both ends. Harvey Barnes comes on to make his debut, and I thought for all intents and purposes that he had scored on his debut. Again, not playing in our traditional formation at all, which, you know, relies on wingers. But, you know, we'll ride with it, we'll roll with it. And it's one of those ones when, if you look back at the highlights packages from Harvey Barnes and his time at Leicester, it's one of the ones where he likes to cut in and get the shot away. And he did that with some aplomb, and I thought, for all intents and purposes, as soon as the shot went off, I thought, it's a goal. Top corner job, this. Fucking beautiful. But no, unlucky was denied. And I think upon reflection and looking back on the game as a whole, I can't help but think that a draw was probably the right result. The pitch looked as dry as out. The ball didn't seem to be bouncing right. The pitch didn't look great, I must admit, but the stadium and the atmosphere seemed to be absolutely perfect and spot on, really, to be honest. But yeah, I think it's just 3 apiece. I thought there were some really good performances yesterday, especially from the younger contingent. And Elliot Anderson, I'll start with him. He's got to be given Eddie Howe food for thought. There's no chance of this lad being loaned out this season, like none, because he's going to get plenty of minutes for Newcastle United in the Premier League and obviously the Champions League and the Cups and stuff as well. I thought Elliot Anderson was absolutely an utterly different gravy. I thought Anthony Gordon looked so fit, one of the fittest players on the pitch. He was all over, he was positive, he was bright. Isak as well, I was impressed with Isak. And yeah, Lewis Miley, that would be the other one really to sort of to pick out. 17 and he's playing like that, and again another one getting linked with a loan move out. But you know, you're going up against the likes of Yuri Tielemans and stuff like that, and you don't look out of place. He doesn't look out of place. He's 17 and he's still growing. And I think although it's right to be cautious and take it steady with him and not to throw him in, he looked fantastic against Chelsea in his cameo at the end of last season. I've said this all along now for quite a while, that he is going to be a major player, and it's great that Newcastle United have got so many young prospects coming through at the same time. But Lewis Miley is absolutely and utterly different gravy. There's a reason why they put the captain's armband on him against Gateshead, and that tells you everything you need to know with regards to what the coaches think of this lad and the future direction of travel. If he continues with the hard work, the same application, he is destined to save us many millions of pounds, and he's destined to have a long and successful future at Newcastle United. But I thought Elliot Anderson was fantastic. I thought Anthony Gordon looked so bright, so energised, and just all over the place. Lewis Miley, I really don't want the club to loan him out. I really do not, because I think he's ready now. Honestly, I mean, he's not ready to start every single game, but he's going to get plenty of minutes from the bench, and he's good enough. You know, you've got to look away from the age so much and concentrate on the fact that, can he do the job in the middle of the park? And of course he can. Of course he can. So I would keep him, and I hope Eddie Howe is of the same thoughts about it. And yeah, a very entertaining opening to this summer series for Newcastle United. And we now go ahead and play Chelsea slightly later, so be interested in that one the following day to see how I'm feeling. But like I say, feeling okay today. It was a good game. It's a shame that Newcastle United couldn't find that extra goal and to have won it 4-3. But I think it was more important about playing cards close to your chest, playing a little bit of poker with Unai Emery and trying things out, because there's no doubt over the course of the next season there will be instances where we've got to change formations. Perhaps if you've got injuries and you've got no more subs to be able to make, sometimes you've got to change the formation to protect the lead or whatever. So it's smart preparation. But fuck me, after the first 10 minutes, I was shitting the bricks. I wasn't happy at all. But yeah, we got to see everybody pretty much. There was no Jamal Lewis playing last night. Now, he's been given the shop window over the past 2 games prior to this one, to sort of generate a little bit of interest in him. Watford were circling around, so perhaps something is happening with that. One other player who wasn't there last night, but there's no shenanigans going on with this lad, is Sean Longstaff. A little bit of a groin injury, a little bit of a groin strain, and nothing serious according to Eddie Howe, and he's going to be back involved in the training today. Obviously the players flew straight back to the hotel last night. Preparations now start for the game in Atlanta, I think it is, against Chelsea. So yeah, Sean Longstaff, a little bit of an injury, a little bit of a concern, so he wasn't risked last night. Another just shout out as well for last night. I thought we looked different gravy as well when Joe Linton come on, and I think, you know, for me more and more is the games tick by. I think we are a different animal, a different beast with Joe Linton in there, and that physicality. I think he's arguably the first name on the team sheet, and I can't wait to see Joe Linton playing alongside Tonali and Bruno as a midfield three, just to see how that dynamic, you know, begins to shape up, and you know, just to see Tonali's continued integration into the Newcastle United machinery, and as he gets used to playing against this different style of opposition and stuff. So looking forward to seeing them three. Perhaps we'll see that against Chelsea midweek, you know, in the second game in this summer series. You know, fingers crossed we get to, you know, to see that. But there's so many quality permutations that he can do, and different ways that he can go, different systems that he can play, different players to start in those different systems. It's absolutely fantastic. And after the game, again, he said, look, Harvey Barnes, fantastic to get him in, but we're already working on the next one. So that's positive to be able to hear, you know, from him, that we're already working on the next transfer deal, because, you know, we've got to do these quickly. We've got to get the players in sooner rather than later, whether that's Tino Livramento or somebody else. I personally think if Southampton are sticking to this £50 million valuation that TalkSport are speaking about for a player who's just missed over 12 months of action, no, it doesn't matter how much I'd like him as a player to be at Newcastle United, he cannot be held to ransom. You know, they are not in a position of strength, just been relegated, probably haven't got a pot to piss in, and they're trying to play funny buggers. I'd draw a line in the sand, you know, and say either this 30 million or we'll move on. There's plenty more fish in the sea and all that sort of thing. So be interested to see how that one develops. It has gone quiet, hasn't it, over the last couple of days. During the game last night as well, Alan said Maximin did some posting. He was watching the game, cheering on from home. Once a Geordie, always a Geordie, of course. He's got, you know, he's caught the bug. He should complete his move sometime today. I would have thought, as I'm recording this on the Monday. So it's one of them. He's entertained. He's been a great player for Newcastle United, but you know, you wish him well at his new club. He's earning a lot of coin, 200 grand a week. Can't blame the lad, really, can you? When that sort of money's thrown about, and it's allowing Newcastle United to sign the likes of Barnes and to move on and to bring in other players and stuff as well. So, you know, it's the necessities of modern football, isn't it? With FFP and all that sort of thing. But yeah, that's pretty much as we are at the moment. We'll be back, obviously, the games are coming thick and fast, so we're back with another video around the Chelsea game on the Wednesday. We'll try and do a quick preview and then obviously the full review the day after. And yeah, let me know what you think down below of the game. What were your highs, what were your lows, with the players that stood out. I think the Dummett and Target thing was a little bit alarming and concerning at one point early doors, but you know, enjoyable game. This isn't the team, and this isn't the formation that we will line up against Aston Villa in just a couple of weeks' time. I've no doubt about that. But goodness me, the entertainers are back. Yes, as I finish Newcastle United 3, Aston Villa 3. Absolutely fantastic. So yeah, take care, keep it tuned, subscribe to Magpie 24/7, hit the bell notification down below as well to stay up to date with all the latest goings on Magpie 24/7. Appreciate your support. Speak to you later. Take care and keep it tuned.